Okay, it's been probably a week or so since I've done a video. I was busy doing other things, so if you've seen my videos in the past, you'll remember that this was kind of looking like a junkyard, and I had a lot of work to do. It's kind of what I've got left over. Mostly a bunch of lumber I had to tear down, a storage, I would call it like a carport, but it's more like a tractor port. It's more for storing lawn equipment, but that's what's left of it. We've had some tornadoes. I didn't get hit, but I got some limbs and stuff like that. But so disc golf basket. So I've got everything consolidated over here right now. Don't have much going on. Let's see. I'll show this. I'll do a video about this later. The 1050. I'll talk about that in a second. So, let's see what we've got here. So I got the 600 right here, and I went to start it. Couldn't get any spark. Tested the ignition coil, and the ignition coil is bad. Can't find an ignition coil for this thing. So one of two things has got to happen. I'm either going to have to repower this, or I'm going to have to sell it, because it can't just sit around and do nothing, because that's just not how I want it to be. So the Bolin's Husky Gold Edition 600 is either going to get a repower on it, or it's going to go up for sale, and I haven't decided which one yet. I have a little bit of time to do that, but yep, this one's the 600. Yep, it's in question. So I'll do one more video at least before that happens, if it does. So the 1050, I'll show some other things that are going on here. 1050 is underneath the tarp right now. So I was going through all my stuff, like I said, over the, I did this for like 3 or 4 months, where I was just going through everything, all my equipment, all my things, change out the engines and rear end and stuff like that. Well, the 750, along the way I learned a little bit more, and the 750 was always my workhorse and running great, but it's doing, I'm hoping it's doing better now than ever. And usually when I say stuff like that, it doesn't work out that way, but I'm going to just try this anyway. So I just pulled the throttle a little bit and see if it starts right up. Nope, I got a battery issue. Okay, so I need to charge the battery, but once the battery charges, this thing's good to go. So I was going through everything, and of all things, I had a car, and I was going through the trunk of the car, and found a whole slew of Bolin's Husky parts that I didn't even know that I had. And come to find out, that whole batch of parts was for this 800 Husky that I couldn't identify forever. Well, now I've identified it. I got the motor, of course, but I've got the engine out that I took out immediately because I wanted to store it. But I found all the parts that I needed to make that one, which I'm not going to do. They're just parts, but so I found a treasure trove of parts that I didn't even know that came from this 800. And I have to be honest, I don't even remember when or where I bought this from, to be honest. So what I found in there was, I found a good starter. So the 1050 has a good starter on it now, and I'm going to get a video on that pretty soon as well. So got a couple of videos coming out, but really the major thing today is The 600 has kind of reached a turning point where after about 63 years the ignition coil gave out, and I've put out the word in a couple areas and I'm not getting any response on how I can find a new one. So this 600, we'll see what happens, but it's most likely going to be sold, and if it's not sold it's going to be repowered with a different engine, because it's not doing me any good if it doesn't run. So that's pretty much the report for today. Other than that, I don't really think I have much else going on. Got a couple machines up for sale. Got the Mighty Max shredder for sale, cheap. Haven't really had any inquiries on that. But yep, so finally got my yard in order. Got my machines. I'm still going to be going through things throughout this year, but I had a lot of organizing and cleaning up to do, so that's where we're at now. I've got my temporary rolling shop right there. That's not going to be long for this world. As soon as I finish all my tractor work and stuff like that, I'm tearing that thing back down again. So that's where we're at today. Just an update. The 600 is probably not going to be the same original like it has been, so I'm either going to have to pull the engine and store the engine until I find an ignition coil, or I'm just going to have to sell it. So I'm not sure, but all right, that's an update on the latest stuff here.